We're in 2026, so we can't chat about any new company in this day and age without talking about AI. So
Mm.
tell us a little bit about what AI is actually doing inside Molly today, where you think it's moving the needle with health insurance, and where do you think it's going to actually move towards, in the future?
Yeah. So first, where Molly, or yeah, where Molly's using AI is specific to member tools. So there's so many different confusing long PDFs inside of health insurance that members don't read. Members don't read their plan document. They're not reading the summary of benefits, and so we essentially have a number of different AI agents that have access and they're prompted on all that information. So a member can go in and actually ask the AI, for example, hey, how is chiropractic care covered under my health plan? And instead of having to look through that long, confusing plan document, our agents can provide a response back instantaneously. And so right now, where we're leveraging AI is to actually help members just with the overall experience and understanding of the health plan and healthcare as a whole. And like where it can go is, it's untapped. Like our goal is, as for example, as soon as a member walks out of their primary care, and they need some type of MRI, for example, we can call that member leveraging AI and get that MRI booked with them on spot right away so they don't have to think about it in the future. But I think from an industry standpoint, it's going to be really interesting to see where AI actually goes. And what I mean by that is a lot of the large players in the space are they're benefiting on confusion and lack of understanding in healthcare and health insurance. And so they're really not incentivized to provide any of these tools to their members. And so it'll be interesting to see if some of the large carriers actually adopt AI in any way outside of just using AI to scrub claims and deny claims or even answer member phone calls.
Yeah. And one thing that strikes me about Molly too is just the flexibility. These plans, ideally could move with you between 1099 and W-2 status, which it
Mhm.
really never existed before because your health insurance is always like tied to one particular job. What's the technical and regulatory complexity of building a plan that's that portable?
Yeah, that's a great question. Obviously, like I'll start with our thesis. We believe that, especially in today's day and age, like a health plan should not be tied to an employer. And a lot of employers don't even want to deal with the administrative burden of health plans. You're seeing it with the big ICHRA movement. A lot of these companies are offering a defined contribution model, allowing members to go out and shop for insurance on their own. So we're super bullish on that. I don't know if ICHRA is like the end all be all, just because it's still leveraging the ACA plans. But the idea of removing that administrative burden from the employer, I think is massive. And even like health insurance is it's very personalized, it's very segmented. Like people should be able to shop for their own health plan and not have the employer make that decision for them. And I think like to the regulatory question, there's a lot of legislation that's being pushed right now. We even just saw it with HR 2528, which is allowing associations to band together on like an entrepreneurial level. So you can create an association that's an association of entrepreneurs and you can build a self-funded health plan inside that association. Yeah. So there's a lot of administrative and legislative tailwinds that are allowing us to do what we do.
Yeah. And just follow up question to that. What happens if I'm a 1099 worker today and then I take a W-2 job tomorrow that's offering me health insurance sort of through the traditional path? Are you thinking that some of your users will actually push through and say, hey, I want to stick with this? And like, how do you sort of retain those folks as they're going into those new environments with different options?
Yeah, I think this first is like providing the best member experience ever. Knowing that, for example, like once you start using Amazon, it's you usually don't go to Target to buy your paper towels anymore. You always buy them on Amazon, and so like we're trying to provide that same type of member experience around the shopping of healthcare. Is like once you know exactly how much you're going to pay for an MRI and you can book it directly in the app, why would you go back to a different insurance plan where you can't get access to that? And so I think a couple things is obviously if a member goes back to a W-2 job and the employer is paying for their own health insurance. Free health insurance is a lot better than having to pay. But like even if it's apples to apples, health insurance is getting a lot more expensive for employers, and we're only seeing contributions go down. And so I think there's a world where members will even on an employer based plan decline and keep their Molly product with them just because even as we grow like we're looking to get more into the longevity and wellness space where you can connect your Aura, your Apple Watch, your Whoop and give us a level of data that you just no other insurance company has out there, and it's not being used to better price you out. It's truly being used to help you be a smarter consumer, and for example, know if you have early onset chronic conditions and steer away from those conditions. So. I think really where we're taking the product is going to be the reason that members want to keep Molly, even if they're going back to a W 2 employer.
Like tried and true product led growth strategy.
Yeah.
Exactly.
every single user is a champion then that then goes into these new environments and says, hey, why aren't we doing Molly? Why aren't you putting those contributions towards something else? So
Yeah,
cool.
totally. And especially if the employer is only paying partial and you still have to pay a premium anyway, it could be comparable that like Molly's still, like if you look at just like apples to apples out of pocket cost, could still be beneficial for them as well. So it
Exactly.
depends on like the premium contribution as well.